everyone, welcome to Therapy Talks with Antonia. This week we're going to be talking about overcoming stigma with regards to mental health conditions. So stay tuned for the video. So when it comes to overcoming stigma with regards to mental health conditions, first we want to know what is a stigma. Let's define stigma. So stigmas is basically a negative perspective that others may have on a distinguishing characteristic that you have. So the mental health condition. Most people have a negative stigma attached to having a mental health condition because they assume it's a disadvantage. But we want to change that. We want to help you cope, and we want to learn that negative stereotypes against mental health conditions should not be encouraged. So when people have this negative viewpoint about having a mental health condition, there are a lot of harmful effects that come about. Sometimes people get bullied, you get abused, you have harassment that comes up. Even the capacity for you to have social events. Sometimes you're not invited to certain functions because they view you as maybe a hazard or having a problem. You don't want to have these harmful effects affect your life. So let's talk about how we cope with stigma. So when people feel stigmatized, there are so many harmful effects that arise out of it. Some of them include that they don't want to get help for themselves. They don't seek treatment because of the shame and the stereotypes attached to saying that I have a mental health condition. You also want to prevent bullying, abuse, and harassment. Now, when somebody has something like, let's say, bipolar, or they're diagnosed with depression, people treat them differently. They want to pick on them. They say, oh, you have such and such and such, and this is where we're going to put you in the corner, separate from everybody else. And they feel isolated, they feel lonely. You don't want to have somebody who's a human feeling like this. You don't want to have somebody who's your family or your friends be treated like this. So we want to learn how to manage harmful effects by understanding how to cope with stigma. So first of all, you want to focus on getting the treatment. See, self-stigma. When you self-stigmatize yourself and understand that there is a shame with what you have, you're limiting your opportunities to get help. You're allowing yourself to feel so deeply engaged in what you're experiencing and what people are saying about you that you don't give yourself the opportunity to treat for it. When you get treatment, you identify what are the problems. You learn how to manage the problems. In fact, sometimes with treatment, you don't have that control in your life. You don't have a mental illness as a label anymore because you're coping with it, you're managing it, and nobody has to know that you're living with this illness. So another key strategy when it comes to coping with stigma is learning that you don't have to be alone in this. You don't have to isolate yourself. A lot of people feel so much shame attached to the stigmatization of mental health conditions that they lock themselves away. They don't want to talk to family, they don't want to go to any social settings because they feel people will treat them differently or look at them differently. You can't do this on your own. You need the support of your friends or your family. You need the help and the trusting guidance of professionals as well. So understand that empowering yourself also means allowing space for others to come in and help you and be there for you. They don't have to literally hold your hand and walk, but they can tell you along the way, you're doing good. It's okay. You can manage this. The last thing you want to talk about when considering coping with stigma is speaking out against stigma. Being that inspirational voice that shows people that you are proud of who you are, that you own your illness, and that your illness doesn't run your life. Start being comfortable with yourself and showing others that it's okay to have a mental illness and be able to function normally. You don't want labels to be the commonality. You want owning your life, empowering yourself, and being brave and proud of who you are to be the common factor when it comes to mental illness. Understanding that each one teach one. You be the inspiration to teach somebody else about the ignorant views of mental health conditions and how normal it can be to function with a mental health condition. So as always, if you need any more information on this topic or have any feedback about it, feel free to call or message me at 798-4261 or 283-HELP. We're also available at our website at www.therapyconsultants.com. We look forward to hearing from you, and if you have any additional topics that you want me to talk about, also send me a message for that. Take care and have a blessed day. So as always, if you have any feedback on this topic or need more information, please they limit your work. You want to learn how to develop methods of treating for this phone is too Sorry, phone. Sorry.